Hey guys, this is Neil with Catalyst Machineworks, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to get your bind and fly system up in the air. So if you've purchased a bind and fly quad from us and you received it, you want to get flying, this is what you do. So the first thing you need to do is bind to the craft. I'm not going to give a detailed procedure on how to do that. I'm going to assume you know how to do that. If you don't, there are plenty of plenty of procedures online on YouTube and whatnot. So if you have a America frame, you see one here in the picture, it has a canopy and the receiver, the radio receiver is sitting on top of the flight controller underneath that canopy. So to access it, what you have to do is use a tool like an Allen wrench, something that's not sharp, preferably, so you don't cut the thing up. But go ahead through one of the two holes in the back of the canopy, and then you can access that button. If you don't want to do that, or you just can't see it, or you don't feel confident doing it in that method, you can go ahead and remove these 4 screws that hold the canopy down, pull the canopy off, and then remove the 4 screws that hold the flight controller down. Then you can drop that flight controller, and then the receiver is going to be sitting on top of it. That sounds a little scary. It's really not. It's actually very easy to do. So a lot of people prefer to do it that way. I prefer to do it that way. So it's up to you. All right. Now that you've got your craft bound up, what you want to do is go to your Chrome app. This is Betaflight Chrome app. Assuming you have a Betaflight craft, hit that. All right. Make sure you've got the LiPo power plugged into the main pigtail on the craft. You've got your transmitter on, and you have the props off. Absolutely make sure you get those props off. You're going to injure yourself at some point in this hobby if you do not take those props off when you're binding the craft or doing any kind of setup. All right, so the first thing you need to do is go to the receiver tab, and you can see what's happened here. If you take your sticks on the transmitter, on the radio, and move them around, and the channel assignments seem to be switched up, like we have in my case. Go to this drop down on the right, go to the very last selection, and hit save. Now it's going to remap those channel assignments, and go through each one, go through throttle, go through yaw, pitch, and roll, and make sure that everything is corresponding the way it should. Not every setup's going to be the same. When you go ahead and go into this tab, your channel assignments may be correct. So you just have to figure out what scenario you've got. Next thing you need to do is go and set up the modes. The only one you're going to use in the case of our systems is ARM. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I like to have my ARM switch where when I set it in the middle, it's going to arm. So if I accidentally go all the way to the end of the switch throw, if I bump it accidentally, it's not going to arm. It's only going to arm if I go to the middle. And there we go. So the craft is arming, and that's it. I'm ready to go fly. So put your props on. There are 2 different ways that we sell these systems with the props rotating in a normal orientation. And okay, so this is a little graph that shows, or a little graphic that shows the orientation of the props and how they're rotating. In this particular build, we've got the props reversed. So the 2 front props, excuse me, the 2 front props are rotating away from each other, and then the 2 rear props are rotating towards each other. All right, so you need to make sure that you match however this is set up. Look at this little graphic and read what it says, and make sure you've got those props on correctly, because if you don't, that craft is going to freak out and it will try and kill you. So make sure you do that right. So that's it. Go ahead and get those props on, go outside, fly, and have fun, and let us know how it went.